there's so many women out there that are wanting to they have dreams to have a big business and they have this longing for something and they're just not really sure how to make this happen.
Hey, y'all, welcome back to the Because Adulting is Hard podcast. I'm Alita, and this is Misty Brown. I am so excited. I love more than anything on this podcast to have women who are doing their own thing and being successful while also serving as servant leaders. So give us your name and title and all of that information, and then we'll go from there.
So I'm Misty Brown, and I am the events chair for the Texas Women in Business Bay Area chapter. I'm also, my day job happens to be with Keller Williams Clear Lake. I am not only a full-time agent with them, I also am on the Associate Leadership Council and help guide our new agents in having their best lives.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about this women's organization, because I actually had to go and look it up when you and I had our first conversation. So give me a little bit about the organization as a whole to begin with, and then we'll talk about the Bay Area chapter.
Okay, so it's actually TWIB is the shortened version, but it's been around for about a decade. It started in Austin, Texas, and they have a little over 200 members right now. They have now since then also added the Lubbock chapter, which has around 40 members. And right now we're at about 29 because we're just babies.
So tell me what the mission of this organization is.
The mission of TWIB, Texas Women in Business, is to be able to provide guidance and direction. There's so many women out there that are wanting they have dreams to have a big business and they have this longing for something and they're just not really sure how to make this happen.
And that's totally true, because as a small business owner, it's more what I didn't know that I didn't know in business that was so hard for me. And it wasn't until I came across, and I'm going to be honest, other women in business, it's less intimidating because you know they're having the same struggles as you are. Like, I didn't come to the table with a business degree. I came to the table with a degree in education. So the things that I've learned from other females that in particular that have at least some interest in business, and most have their own business, is what has brought me from kind of average to above average in my field. So that's what interests me most about this organization. Before we started this interview, you were talking a little bit about a boutique that you were just working with, because that's what was so impressive to me, is that this organization will also help individual businesses once you've become a member. We're going to talk a little bit about membership and how you can do all that, but I want you to kind of give us an idea about what makes this so different than another networking group.
So one of our most recent events, and I think that's what you were talking about, was we did a holiday market. So when I say we like to support other women business owners, there was she is the snow cone lady in Pearland. And so she gave us her venue to be able to host this holiday market. We had a bunch of small business owners there with their business, selling their products, their services, and so forth. But what was special and unique about this particular market was that we took the proceeds that had been gathered from entering the market and we gave them to a charity. It's actually called the Refuge for Women.
Okay.
And a little bit about them. It's almost like I get goosebumps just talking about this group because they're so special. They are here in the Houston area and they help women who have been involved in sex trafficking. And so these women, a lot of them they were sex trafficked at maybe like 9-10 years old. They've led a very different life. So this organization helps them with their rehabilitation and gives them a place to live for a year. They provide, housing, food, some different things as far as education goes to try to get them back into the workforce, and therapy as well. And so with that being said, this market, we helped donate to that charity.
So that's one of the big things as a small business owner that's an up and coming trend. I'm going to be real honest. If you're not involved with a group as a small business owner that is helping you make connections either with nonprofits or with other business owners that you can coordinate your events with, you are behind the curve. And that's from a small business owner myself. So this chapter, I know there's a fee, just like the chamber charges me a fee. Everybody charges me for a fee for coming in. So if I'm interested in this organization, we're going to put the link above to the Texas organization. Say that one more time.
Texas Women in Business.
Texas Women in Business. We're going to put that above. And then we're also going to put the link to the, is it the Bay Area Houston chapter? Mm-hmm. The Bay Area Houston chapter. So pretend I joined your organization. What are the biggest things that I'm going to get out of being a member?
So we have professional development opportunities, social opportunities, and then also we give women a way to give back to the community.
So let's talk a little bit about what the professional development looks like. You have a monthly meeting, correct?
So we have our monthly meetings we have speakers at each one, and they'll be speaking on a multitude of things. One would be health and wellness. We all know that women tend to take care of themselves instead of taking care of themselves first. And so, and we can't have big businesses and big lives without our health, right? Right. Then we also are going to have speakers that are talking about mindset. And then we also have speakers that are going to talk about things such as goal setting.
And that's part of y'all's January campaign that you mentioned earlier. You also talked about the value of social connections. So I know that that's something that you provide specific events for, because this may sound weird, but unless you're in my industry or unless you're a women business owner, it's really hard for me I'm not a banker. I'm not specifically. So when I'm really talking about women in business, you meet people from a wide variety of things. So what type of social opportunities do y'all have with this organization?
We have monthly happy hours, a little way to relax in a more relaxed social setting, have a cocktail, and just unwind and talk to other business owners.
I think that some of my biggest business connections were actually made socially. Because I'm a pretty closed person. I've got a lot of thoughts going on, a lot of things. So in order for me to open up and be like, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing to promote this campaign. Can I ask you for help? I actually have to have a little bit of relational capacity with other people to ask those types of questions.
And it's a more relaxed atmosphere.
Absolutely.
As well. So we also have Coffee Connects. So for someone who maybe would like to do something more during the day, that's more fitting, or maybe they're not as interested in the coffee or in the cocktail hours. There's a little something for everyone.
And that's what I like, because sometimes people are morning people, sometimes people are night people, just each event kind of things goes in there. And so finally, the last thing that you mentioned was that there's a give back opportunity, that this is an organization both at the local and at the state level that is interested in giving back to the community. Tell me a little bit about that.
So, I mentioned earlier what we were doing here locally. On the state level. There's going to be the Now, Not on Our Watch. That's actually going to be, TWIB is working with the Governor's Commission to create an awareness campaign around human trafficking and sex trafficking. And so we're doing that, and that's going to be on June 24th of this next coming summer, hopefully.
Yeah. And that's one of the things every organization that we keep having on, there are limitations that you're learning through immersion of the COVID. And so like everybody else, keep following your social media and keep looking at those things to see where there's updates on. But more importantly, we want you to come and join us for this meeting, right? So when is the next meeting that is happening?
So we have them on the third Thursday of every month, and that's when our speaker events are going to be. And then, you can check out our calendars for the cocktail hours and the Coffee Connects as well.
So I think it's really important as we kind of wrap up that finding a group that you network with, regardless of I've tried several different ones. It is imperative in a small business owner, whether you are an independent little business owner at your house or you're trying to grow, like you said, grow a big life, you have to network with people, because I keep going back to that phrase that in business, you don't know what you don't know. And it is your biggest thing. And you only learn that by asking questions and being around other people and listening and seeing what other people are doing. Right. So I am so grateful for you coming on the show today. And like we tell our listeners always, you can reach us on any of our platforms, and they can reach out to you through social media as well. Is there anything else you'd like to conclude with?
Yeah, so just like to encourage all the listeners out there that if they themselves are business owners or happen to know of any others that are, that may benefit from something like this, to attend one of our meetings and bring a friend, and let's see how we can help each other out. And pretty much it. Thank you so much for having us.
And y'all, seriously, if you are interested in joining this organization, or that's how I found out about some of my best leads in networking, is because somebody else has invited me. I would encourage you to invite somebody else to this group, because this is where and how the future is happening in marketing and connecting together in small businesses. So I appreciate you coming on the show, and as always, remember to live happier, because adulting is hard.